What's this? I'm right outside a TG&Y store. A TG&Y store apparently in the late 1960s? What's this all about? TG&Y originated in Liberty in what used to be called the Liberty Center at the intersection of Liberty Drive and 291, and was originally located right here, right next to where Kroger eventually located. TG&Y was a fairly small store at that point, and in a bid to create a more department store-like atmosphere, TG&Y departed from Liberty Center and moved to Crossroads West Shopping Center into this area right here. That occurred in 1971, and TG&Y stayed here until 1983. A TG&Y Family Center located along Highway 291 in Liberty, Missouri? Wow! There were other stores of similar quality also located in Liberty, Missouri. What happened to them? Where did they all go? And like this distressed young woman, we are going to take a jaunt backward through time to explore not only the history of TG&Y, but other variety stores as well.
Ron McCoy is warped.
That's time warped? TG&Y was founded by three men who happened to be in the same business fair at the same time, and they decided to go into business together. The T in TG&Y stands for Rawdon E. Tomlinson. The G stands for Enoch L. or Les Goslin, and the Y stands for Raymond A. Young. Yes, each of these men had owned separate variety stores in Oklahoma City when they met at a trade show in 1932 to form the Central Merchandising Corporation, and they built a warehouse in Oklahoma City. This allowed their stores to buy merchandise in bulk directly from their manufacturers, instead of through wholesalers. The business owners articulated their philosophy as, have what people want at a price they can afford to pay.
The three men opened their first jointly owned store in 1936 on the corner of Main Street and Crawford Avenue in Oklahoma City.
TG&Y's initials were arranged in the order of the births of each of the founders. It went from oldest to youngest. Generally, the outlets first opened in rural communities and small towns and gradually made their way to urban centers and suburbs where malls developed during the 1960s. Most stores were 6,000 to 8,000 square feet. However, TG&Y family centers built in the 1960s usually had an average of 40,000 square feet. During World War II, due to wartime manufacturing, the company had trouble obtaining fixtures to outfit their new stores. To solve the problem, the owners eventually built their own fixture factory in Oklahoma City in 1956. In 1957, Butler Brothers of Chicago, Illinois, bought out TG&Y, which had 127 outlets at that time. However, the company remained autonomous, and the management did not change. By 1960, TG&Y was a subsidiary of Chicago-based City Products, which operated other variety stores nationwide. 6 years later, Household Finance Corporation, HFC, purchased City Products. As mentioned, TG&Y was acquired by the Butler Brothers of Chicago in 1957, with the understanding that Raymond A. Young's leadership would continue as the other two partners retired. After Young's retirement in 1970, leadership changed frequently. The chain would operate approximately 760 retail stores in the 1960s. In 1970, a man named David Green, who had been a manager for TG&Y for over 10 years, took out a $600 loan and began a home business in his garage. He made miniature picture frames with his partner, Larry Pico. The focus then changed to arts and crafts, and the store would become Hobby Lobby in 1975. After David Green left his career with TG&Y after 13 years. After its heyday in the 1960s, an effort was made to rebrand and expand TG&Y in the 1970s under the trade names of TG&Y Dollar and Aim for the Best and Dollar Tea. TG&Y also opened and operated 120 TG&Y family centers, which were larger stores averaging between 40,000 and 60,000 square feet. These were larger than the usual 10,000 square feet TG&Y stores, and this was an effort in order to compete with the department stores that were popping up in urban areas. By 1986, TG&Y had a total of 920 stores and was acquired by McCoy Stores, a division of Rapid American Corporation, which operated a variety of retail stores. McCoy purchased a total of 718 stores from HFC, Home Finance Corporation, and closed 200 stores shortly thereafter, with the reasons being competition, leasing terms, demographics. Rose's Discount Store, which at the time operated 209 stores in 6 southeastern states, acquired some of the TG&Y locations along with Zayre. An attempt to sell the TG&Y family centers to Target Corporation failed because the 60,000 square foot store size was too small for Target. The TG&Y headquarters was merged with the headquarters of McCoy, thus 180 jobs were eliminated. TG&Y did keep a regional office open in the area. An attempt was made by McCoy to reconfigure the TG&Y stores into the same format as other McCoy stores. However, the family centers proved more of a challenge because They were typically 60,000 square feet, whereas McCoy stores were approximately 10,000 square feet. Additionally, TG&Y stores had a different product mix from McCoy, so that was a difficult transition as well. And ultimately, McCoy filed for bankruptcy in early 2001. Some TG&Y employees would go to work for Hobby Lobby, which was started by former TG&Y executive David Green. TG&Y stores and Walmart stores had strategically avoided locating in the same area. But without TG&Y, there was no longer any such restraint. Likewise with Kmart. And the legacy of TG&Y lives on in a museum in Kingfisher, Oklahoma, which celebrates the TG&Y legacy going back some 80 years. And as we know, TG&Y was not the only vintage department store in Liberty, Missouri. There was also Mattingly's. Now, we already know that this building here on the corner at one time housed Kroger and Safeway, but it also housed a store called Mattingly's. It was a variety store. It included a lot of different things, including toys, which were located in the basement. You can see that over my left shoulder to your right. But Mattingly's also provided many of the same kinds of things that TG&Y sold. Located along Kansas Street in this strip mall was a small department store called P.N. Hirsch. It carried a variety of items, although I don't remember them carrying toys, although I do remember them carrying school supplies in August and early September. P.N. Hirsch was located adjacent to where the A&P grocery store had once been located. P.N. Hirsch was a U.S. department store chain acquired by the International Shoe Company, which became Interco, in 1964. The stores were known as a mid-range retailer that offered lower prices than local merchants due to their large-scale buying power. In 1983, P.N. Hirsch was sold to Dollar General, and many former locations were converted into Dollar General stores.
Marcia. Marcia.
Marcia. Marcia. You remember Marcia?
Climb off it. Come on, dear. Marcia.
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 We now return your department store, as well as your YouTube video, to you until the next episode of Rob McCool is Time Warped.
That's Ron McCoy is Time Warped, and I need to time warp into the preview of the next adventure, so stay tuned. Oh, I'm being pulled into another fantastic adventure somewhere along the infinite corridors of time. What's this? A drive-in movie theater on Liberty Drive in Claycomo, Missouri, called the Clayco, and there were other now defunct movie theaters in this area. Wow.